Hello, and thank you so much for tuning in and watching. My name's Jane Jackson, and I work with female heart-centered entrepreneurs who are stuck. So they might be stuck in their business or they might be stuck in their life. And in a nutshell, I work with them to help them get unstuck. And I do this using a process of soul alignment, helping them to really get in touch with their passion and their purpose, to align with what their soul truly desires, because from that place all things are possible. From that place of alignment with your soul, that's when you get into this creative flow with the universal energy. It's when you start manifesting with ease. It's when you just feel like everything is on the right track and everything comes to you really easily. Now, why am I showing up today and talking about it's safe to speak up? So I noticed something that I received this download of a method to show my followers several months ago, or maybe a month ago. And although I was able to write about it and to articulate it in the written word, what I was finding was when someone asked me that question, whether it's out in networking or whether it's just out in the outside world, the real world, when people were asking me, what is it you do? I just froze. It was like I didn't know how to articulate what it was that I do. And I was reflecting on this yesterday a little bit, and what I came to realize was that when I'm writing, I'm talking to my soul clients. I'm talking to those people who I know understand exactly what I'm talking about. When I'm out in the real world, I start to think that I've got to explain what it is that I do in a way that everyone can understand. And that's why I was starting to stumble and not really being able to fully articulate what it is I do, who I work with, and how I work. So that was a really big revelation for me. But I also started to do some tapping to try and explore a little bit more about what was going on. And what I realized during my tapping process was that I had this fear about speaking up, or this fear of speaking out, and I didn't quite know where it came from. So when I was doing the tapping, I realized that it originated from my childhood. It originated from that time when my father said, you mustn't tell your mother what we do. She wouldn't understand. And bad things would happen to you if you told anyone. And as a little child, as a very, very little child, I used to think that the bad things that might happen to me was that I was going to die. So I grew up believing that if I spoke out about any of the shit that was happening to me, that I would die. And it was all unconscious. And for a long time, it was holding me back. And quite often what happens when you have a very powerful core belief is that you unconsciously start searching for situations that confirm that belief. And sure enough, throughout my life, I would come across situations that confirmed this belief that if I spoke out, I could die. And one situation that came to mind whilst I was doing my tapping yesterday was when I was setting up a weekend crisis house, and it was a really, really big venture for a very small service user organization. A group of us had this incredible vision to create a place of safety for people that were experiencing a mental health crisis. And during the process of trying to find the right accommodation, we came across this house that we thought would be perfect. And it was suggested to us that in order to raise some money, in order to raise some local backing for this project, that it would be a really good idea to do a local newspaper article. So I was interviewed by someone for, I can't even remember, I think it was the North London Times, something like that. And so this art, you know, they came along to where we worked at Avenue House, took my picture, and there was this article about us setting up this crisis house, and we really needed support of our community. And there was a phone number at the bottom, you know, if you'd like to get involved, leave a message. And I remember coming into work the day after the article had been printed, and there was a message on the answer phone, an anonymous message from someone who said, I know who you are, I know what you look like, and I know where you work. And if you carry on with this project to set up a crisis house for axe-wielding nutters, I think they said, they used that terminology, then you better watch your back, because you're not safe. I will make sure that something happens if you don't pull out now. That's quite scary. That was really quite scary. And the police weren't interested at all. They thought it was an idle threat. Long story short, we had to pull out of that house purchase, which was just as well, because I don't think I'd have liked to have worked with neighbours like that. But we did go on to find appropriate funding and a house, and had set up an amazing project. But all of these things have been feeding into this unconscious belief that it's not safe for me to speak up. And that's quite powerful. So using the tapping process to locate what the source of that fear was, and then tapping to release it, and then tapping to affirm that it's safe for me to speak up. I went out yesterday and was at an event and just networking with people, and someone asked me, what is it you do? I just found myself quite freely and openly sharing what I did at the beginning of this session, that I work with female heart-centered entrepreneurs who might be stuck in their life or business, and I help them to get unstuck. And I do this through a process called soul alignment, where I help them to connect to their passion and purpose, to connect to their soul, so that they are working from a place of alignment. And rather than being met with complete, utter, like, I don't know what you're talking about, this person said, oh my God, that's really interesting, because actually that makes so much sense. So if you are finding that something is holding you back from speaking up, from speaking out, from showing up, doing Facebook Lives, maybe you're struggling to really articulate what it is that you do, whatever it is, you'll be feeling this resistance to speaking up or speaking out. Here's just a very quick thing that you can do. Okay, you don't have to go digging into the past by yourself. Sometimes that's useful to do if you're working with a practitioner. But just on some of the tapping points, so on your eyebrow point, just say, even though I don't feel it's safe for me to speak up, And then the side of the eye. I accept myself and how I feel. Under the eye, even though it really doesn't feel safe for me to speak up. Under the nose, I accept myself and how I feel. Chin, even though it really doesn't feel safe to speak up. I'm not sure why. Eyebrow point, I'm going to love and accept myself anyway. Side of the eye, I understand that it might have come from something from my past. Under the eye, and I choose to let that go with love. I choose to let go of anything that happened in the past that is holding me back, that is not making me feel safe to speak up. Nice deep breath and let it go. I choose to believe that it is safe for me to speak my truth. Side of the eye. It is safe for me to let go of this fear. Under the eye. It is safe for me to trust that nothing bad is going to happen to me or anyone else. Under the nose, if I speak up with love, if I speak my truth from a place of love and grace. Eyebrow, I know that it's safe for me to do so. Side of the eye, feeling safe. Under the eye and feeling relaxed. Okay, take a nice deep breath and then let it go. So when you think about hopping on to do a Facebook Live, when you think about going out there to do networking, to talk about what it is that you're doing, to talk about something that you feel you really need to speak up about and you're feeling that resistance, just try doing some quick tapping to help you to release those blocks, to release the emotions, to release the fear and get you back into that place of feeling like it's safe for you to speak up. Thank you for watching. Take care for now. Bye.